Good morning, Chair and Commissioners. I'm Mike Ravely from the R&D Division. Last July, the Energy Commission received $140 million to the advancement of non-lithium ion technologies. Leave the first slide on, please, for a second. I wanted to point out that when we got that, the chair challenged us to try and do as much as we could, as fast as we could. So we developed a kind of a early phase program and then a later phase program. And also under the current budget, it has not been approved yet, but the current indications are that in July of this year, we will receive another $190 million for the program. I provided an update in September last year on the program, and today I will discuss the program for the entire $330 million, both what we have done and what we plan on doing in the future. Next chart. As we've discussed many times in this meeting and other meetings, energy storage is critical to the future and us meeting our climate change goal. This picture actually came out of the governor's presentation he gave last week to update on energy policy. What it shows is that we currently have about 5,000 megawatts of energy storage installed, and we see a very rapid growth with 19,000 by 2035 and 52,000 megawatts or 52 gigawatts by 2045. It's important to note that the 5,000 megawatts of storage and most of the storage that's planned in the near future is one technology, lithium ion. And what we've been given funding to do is to help expand that and to provide California new options in the non-lithium ion arena. Next chart. So the Energy Commission has a long history in energy storage. Most of you are familiar with the EPIC program that has over 10 years. This is just a quick collage of pictures, but I want to point out the fact that we have developed many technologies, and some of those technologies have graduated to a larger scale. On the left side of the presentation, we show on the upper left that we've done residential, commercial, industrial, military sites, and even large underground sites with the utilities. On the right shows a couple of the projects that we are currently working in the long duration storage program. And the first consider is Redflow. This is a project that was installed about a year and a half ago at Ontario. And it's a 2 megawatt hour system, has been operating very successfully for 18 months. That technology will be used in one of our upcoming presentations. And the lower chart there shows Form Energy, which is a 100-hour system, and this is a artist concept, and that is one of the new innovative technologies that we're working. That's another area that we anticipate awarding grants for, and there's a grant to them. That's the next item. On the other side shows in the very first project we did, the Paskenta tribe, we have 25 megawatt hours of batteries on the ground currently being installed in San Diego. That eventually will be a 35 megawatt hour system and grow to a 60 megawatt hour system next year. In the lower right, it's important to understand one of the things we're doing is we're doing our own independent testing. We have a test facility on the military base at Miramar. This shows that we're testing the first two battery systems, the EOS system and the Infinity system. We're doing extensive testing both on performance and safety and reliability that we're doing independent of testing that the company does themselves. Next chart. So with the $440 million that we received last year, we developed 3 projects that are ongoing. The first 2 projects have been awarded. The third project will receive its first award just at this business meeting. And what I'll do now is just go through briefly. The other thing is that we do expect $190 million, and I will show you as we go forward how we expect to use it. Next chart. So the Vejos project was awarded in October. And we've been working very hard to get the system installed. As I mentioned, 25 megawatt hours of that system at the lower right shows you it's sitting on the ground waiting to be installed. We are working the platform right now, and they will be installing over the next month or two, and they'll be operational in late summer, early fall. It also helps us understand how we use long duration storage. As I mentioned, most of the storage we have today is 4-hour storage. Lithium ion is 4-hour storage. Lithium ion is a technology. It's not classically considered a long duration storage. The picture up upper right shows at the site, there will be the full 60 megawatts of batteries will be in the upper right. There's 15 megawatts of storage. And then up also, they're putting in 250 charging stations in their parking garage to allow them to support EV charging as the tribe continues to grow its operations. Next chart. The Paskenta tribe is, I don't know if we can get rid of that thing in the center or not, Mona. Can we get rid of that? Put that thing in the center?
Or is that Jerome? What is that?
Okay, I'll wait just a second here.
Just wait a second. There we go.
Thank
Go ahead,
you.
Mike.
So this Paskenta tribe is a little bit smaller microgrid, 20 megawatt hours. It's in an area that has a history of reliability issues and wildfires and other types of disturbances. They've been actively working with FEMA to develop in that region an emergency service. They also are intended to provide services not only to their tribe, but to the local community. So they're going to be using this for not only travel, but for the local environment. And also this will show an opportunity for the tribe to reduce their overall energy expenditures. The chart at the front shows you roughly where it is. It's right off of Highway 5, just south of Reading. And then the bottom one is an artist's conception, but at the end of the day, those batteries will be looking just about like that when they're installed in the spring of next year. Next chart. And the final project that we did on our early project is, in fact, the first two were behind the meter. This is a front of the meter. This is Form Energy. This is a 100-hour, 5 megawatt battery. And it will be installed at a PG&E substation in the Mendocino area. One of the things for us to look at is extremely long storage. This storage is very inexpensive on a per hour basis. And then the question is, how do we optimize that? One of the things I wanted to mention is we have only purchased 10% of the storage we need. The more we can make decisions and find technologies that are cheaper or better performing, then we can take advantage of that as we go forward. And as some of these other systems retire, we can replace them with a better performing, lower cost system. That's the ultimate goal of this project and the ultimate reason we were given these funds. And also, this will be demonstrating and providing services to the utility and to the ISO market. Next chart. So one of our requirements, when we submitted the request for funding to the legislature, we said that we wanted to advance 4 to 6 companies to where they could compete on a level playing field with lithium ion. Currently, most non-lithium ion technologies are about 20 to 50% higher than lithium ion, but as they increase their sales and improve things, we believe in the next 2 to 5 years, many of those will be able to compete on a level basis. And the work that we're doing is driving that ability to reduce costs. So we've done 4 technologies: a zinc hybrid, a flow battery based on vanadium, and a flow battery based on zinc bromine, and an Anaergia battery. As you'll see, we have future projects planned, and we actually expect to probably get to the point of 8 to 10 different technology, different combinations out there as part of this project. And hopefully many of those will be able to advance. We are working right now in the range of 20 to 40 megawatts per supplier. And our ultimate goal is to get them where they can produce 200 to 400 megawatt hours a year to be able to compete in this market in the future. Next chart. So if you look at the other thing we're doing is we awarded 2 other support
Mike,
contracts, and one of them, the critical one, is to look at analysis. There hasn't been a lot of work done.
Sorry, do you mind going back one slide? One quick question while we have the chemistries up there. Zinc and vanadium, zinc bromine and so on. I'm just interested in the source location of those raw materials. Those are all domestically available. Are they all also available in California? I mean, obviously we're trying to get off, cobalt coming from the Congo and so forth. Can you speak to that while we have the chemistries up?
I can. So the zinc hybrid technology is 100% sourced in the US. Both of the flow batteries are, a lot of their, about half.
This is the court reporter. I can no longer hear Mr. Gravely.
Speak to the mic. Yeah. Yeah.
I've got a hearing aid on. I'm trying to. I think this will work. So the flow batteries.
Mike, stop. Just turn that off. Just stay right there. That's all you need.
I'll work.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
The problem is I get a double feedback for the hearing aid.
Yeah.
So the hybrid system, the vanadium, some of them produced in the US. A lot of the vanadium is available to US produce. Right now, the technologies are produced outside. And you'll hear today from one of our vendors, their goal is to move to California.
Okay.
And support that. So many of them are working that way. And the iron air system is a US based system, but not into California.
Okay.
So as we go forward, many of them are looking, as we look at that chart, looking to begin or to expand operations.
Great. That's music to our ears. Thank you for explaining that.
So next chart, please. So the other thing that I wanted to mention is in addition to projects this year, we also are looking at analysis. So one of the questions that's never really been addressed is when you look at this 52,000 megawatts of storage, should it all be 4 hours? Should it be combination? And so looking at the different combinations, right now, the documents imply about 10% of that should be long duration, which is by definition 8 hours or more. And what we're trying to do with our analysis to determine that. The other thing is seasonal storage, what is it and how do we pay for it and how do we use it? So we're doing this analysis in parallel to help us understand. And the big factor is cost. If you've got a 100-hour system, can that be equal to 3 or 4 4-hour systems, or how does that work? And we do that. So we're doing that kind of analysis. And to my knowledge, it's not been done anywhere else. The second challenge, and this actually was raised by the California Independent System Operator, is we put more and more storage on the grid. If you have 5,000, if you have 19,000, you pretty much need it all the time. When you get to 50,000 megawatts, you only need that full power, maybe 60, 80 hours a year. So the question is, how do we prevent these companies getting contracts and then eventually becoming insolvent because they're not being paid enough to be used? So we're looking at different tariffs and opportunities and working with the ISO so that if we get more and more storage, how do we ensure that we're not going to pay for something and then it absolutely in a few years becomes insolvent? And also developing very specific metrics on performance, cost, and safety. The other thing is first responder training. When you have an incident like we've had before, and other cases have had, the fire department shows up, they're expecting a lithium-ion battery, and they have a flow battery or something else. So we're developing training and information. So when they show up, they know what's there, they know how to address it, and how to handle it. Because batteries and the safety factor, we don't want them to be injured, and we want them to be able to do their job. And to do that, they need to understand what technology is in front of them, and that's what we're developing as part of this project. Next chart. So the other thing is just to summarize. So we started off with the early success. The other challenge that Chair gave us with all the federal funding that's out there, he asked us to do what we could to maximize our value with those. So we have actually applied to 5 different grants for the federal government, representing about $120 million of our funds. We receive about $240 million of DOE funds. And when you add in the customer's contribution, we're talking about leveraging that 120 to close to $500 million in value for California. We also have a competitive solicitation plan for the summer of this year. And for the fall, we'll be developing it in the summer and the fall to allow other companies to participate in this if they haven't already. And then finally, one of the successes that was a surprise to me, at least, is and these non-lithium-ion batteries, one of the challenges they have is getting investors to invest for them a 20-year PPA when they've only been around 5 years. So it's a little bit difficult. We have an investor who has determined and is ready to fund a 100 megawatt 8-hour system in California with a lithium-ion technology, EOS Energy, and they are prepared to 100% fund it. And so what we're doing now is working with the ISO, with the utilities, and this would be, obviously, this is exactly what we were hoping to achieve, was to get these technologies to the point where they're competitive. And we have one who had, this is actually a technology that had 8 years in EPIC. They had 3 EPIC grants. So this is kind of a graduate from the EPIC program. And so it is a sign of success and a validation that this can happen, that these companies can bring their costs down and compete on the level field. Next chart. Oh, okay, we don't have a summary. So back up one if you would. So I do want to point out the same thing I mentioned last September. We have done a lot of work, and this is probably represents one of the good examples of the commission working together, because not only the R&D division, the siting division for CEQA, the legal division for CEQA and for contracts. We have worked with HR to get labor people. We work with our grants and loan office. So we have just a large collage of people that have supported this project. And I just want to point out that this is a group effort where the R&D has been leading this. We could not be where we are today without that support that we receive from everywhere else from there.
Good morning, Chairperson and Commissioners. My name is Dru Alejandre. I'm the Tribal Chairman for the Paskenta Band of Nomlaki Indians. And I want to thank you for inviting me here today and giving me the opportunity to express my gratitude recognizing the needs of my people and giving Paskenta the opportunity to continue to pursue our vision as a tribe, which is the ability to improve the lives of our tribal membership, those who live in our community, and the future generations. For many years before my time, my ancestors searched for the most efficient ways to live their lives and leave this world a better place for when generations like mine came about. Learning to adapt to new environments and living conditions with everyday evolution. And it is Paskenta's goal today to do the same. So when my time is done, I know that this place will be left in a way that helps our people continue to advance and improve the ways of life. I am proud to say that Paskenta has been a leader in our community and surrounding communities as an economic driver and major employer. Through this given opportunity, we will strengthen our leadership and have the ability to continue to think forward with our long-term economic development strategy that will only bring more economic possibilities and employment opportunities. With an understanding of how fortunate we are as a tribe, Paskenta has made it a core value to help those around us. Like our ancestors, we want to be able to share the gifts that we've been given and help make a difference in lives outside of our tribal nation. And we are honored to have a blessing like this that will help continue to uphold our values as a tribe. Paskenta looks forward to strengthening our relationship with you and all the organizations that are participating. And again, I thank everyone involved from the bottom of my heart and my people for helping us continue to be resilient for the many generations to come. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just before you leave, if you wouldn't mind just sharing a little bit more about the tribe, how many tribal members you have, where you're located, and what you're focused on.
Absolutely. So we're an hour and a half north of Sacramento, right along the I-5 in Corning. We have about 300 tribal members and growing. We are, again, one of the strongest economic drivers of our region. You know, we own the Rolling Hills Casino. We have 2 health clinics in the area that service our members and the local community. You know, we're working through a lot of economic development opportunities, and this is just one thing that's going to help, you know, continue that. You know, and as you know, Northern California is home to many wildfires. So we've been kind of that home base to the region, you know, and inviting people when they're in need. Even their animals, you know, we have our equestrian center on the property, so we house you know, it's a lot of farming in the area, horse lovers and all kinds of stuff. So we're happy to take in all the animals and all the people that we can. You know, we have partnered with FEMA to house people on our property. You know, it's like I said, it's a value of ours to help even, you know, out of our tribe. You know, it's just a value that we've always upheld and want to continue to do. So
I'm delighted to be able to speak to you today as the chairman and CEO and representative of Redflow. Redflow, we are a zinc bromine based fly battery company headquartered in Brisbane, Australia, but also with operations here in California. We were established in 2008 and we have about 250 active deployments around the world at the moment and have delivered 3 gigawatt hours of energy, both for the private and the public sector, including supporting critical infrastructure in ways which is very relevant for California, most notably supporting critical telecommunications infrastructure in Australia in response to the bushfires, we call them bushfires, not wildfires, in Australia in 2020 that we think has got direct relevance to California. We think this project for us is incredibly important as we seek to establish ourselves in California and support California's energy transition goals. As Mike mentioned earlier, we were delighted to establish our presence here in California in 2021 with the epic Grunded 2 megawatt hour opportunity that Mike referred to before. And so that's enabling us to scale further, and we're delighted and thrilled to be able to go and support the Paskenta tribe and the CEC with this new project that Mike has talked about. I think with a proven technology such as ours, the long duration energy storage program by the CEC is incredibly important. It's important across, I think, 3 key areas. One, it's enabling us to commercialize and scale up our technology that is proven to a size and scale that we think is going to enable us to be competitive on a California, US, and global scale. It's also a springboard for us to further invest into our business, driving down costs, driving up volume, and creating a robust solution that we know can scale to meet the long-term, long-duration energy storage needs of California. But we also think it's very important for us to reach the goals of the Paskenta tribe in terms of energy resiliency and independence. And we applaud the chairman for his comments, and we're very proud to be associated in partnership with the Paskenta tribe. But it also allows us to reach California's long duration and energy transition goals. But I think also very importantly, enables California to really establish and further and strengthen its global leadership in terms of energy transition. And I would note last month, the US President Joe Biden and Australian Prime Minister Albanese signed a clean energy compact that recognizes clean energy as a 3rd key pillar alongside defense and economic of this very important alliance that actually calls out energy storage technologies as a key part of that collaboration. So we can see that we're very delighted to be working on this project. We're delighted to be working with the CEC, with our partners and the Paskenta tribe, and we look forward to celebrating the success of it as we execute into next year.
Thank you so much. Great.
Sorry, if I just mention one other word, Chairman, in terms of the US localization, this project is also enabling us to lean into local sources of our supply. And we've already qualified a local supply of our zinc and our bromine electrolyte from our source in the southeastern of the US. So this program is also enabling us to lean into local US supplies to support our strategy here in the US.